Hey, it's Barb from Making It Home. Today I am going to show you how to make a very quick pot roast, even from frozen. I am notorious for forgetting to take meat out the morning of or the night before, and the only thing that has ever saved my butt has been the Instapot. And I know everybody's on the Instapot bandwagon, it seems. I didn't buy one for about a year until after they had come out because I was like, sure, this is another gimmicky product, it's overpriced, blah blah blah, it's gonna be crud, right? And on top of that, my mom kept buying like crock pots that were similar to the Instapot. They were supposed to be pressure cookers, and they never really were. So I was just kind of apprehensive about the whole thing. I had a crock pot. I use it often, so it wasn't like, I, of course, was a little scared of pressure cooking. Just like when I learned how to pressure can, I was a little afraid of it. And then I finally just got comfortable with it after watching a bunch of videos. So by the time I got around to thinking about buying an Instapot, I was already comfortable with the idea of pressure cooking. But I didn't really realize just how handy this thing is when you're as forgetful as I am, or when you just spend all day running around like a chicken with your head cut off and then you forget that you were supposed to take out that frozen 2-pound roast. The irony of this is I was just going to buy the roast, freeze it, and then do this video and be like, blah blah. Well, it's literally like I have an hour and a half before Aaron gets home from work, so I really have to get this in the pot. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get the roast, I put it in the fridge, and it's still frozen solid, and we're going to cook this 2-pound roast in about an hour. And I know that seems crazy, but it actually does work. I've done it. I had a smaller roast than this, and I did it, and it tastes amazing. I mean, I thought it was just going to taste like crud, because, come on, it's like anything you cook really super fast, or if it's gimmicky, it's probably not going to taste that great. The first few years of my marriage, I never really knew how to cook a roast right, and I would just throw it in the oven and just cook it to death, and it just was never tasty, and I was upset. I was like, what's wrong with my roast? Why is this not as good as like the roast when you get sliced deli roast beef from the deli? It's like, it should taste good, it should taste juicy, it should, it should be tasty. And it was just dry and flavorless. So I did some research and found out that, searing your roast is probably a good idea. So that's why I was a little opposed to doing this, is because I don't sear my roast before I put it in when I do it from frozen. When I do it and it's already thawed, I do sear it and then cook it for a shorter amount of time. But seeing how we are literally counting down the minutes, let's get this in the Instapot. Now that I've got the meat and my cup of broth and my seasonings, I just put the lid on, and you always make sure before you put the lid on if your seal is in place and all of your things are on. Then you just lock it into place, hit meat, and because it's 2 pounds, it's half an hour per pound. And you also have to understand it takes time to come up to pressure too, and that usually takes about 15 to 20 minutes. So it is now on. That's the noise it makes when it's on, and then it will start to pressurize. Always make sure that your vent is set to sealing instead of venting, and we should be all good, and we'll come back. I usually chop up the veggies and everything. I usually cut up some potatoes, onion, and carrots, and then I just roast them separately, or once this is finished, I'll put them in there and put a little more liquid if there's not enough liquid, and then I will check my seal again, because you always have to check your seal because sometimes it gets a little loose when it's heated. My tip for that is I run it under cold water to kind of make it shrink back up so that it fits on properly. And then I put it back on and set it for another like 15 to 20 minutes, and that should be enough time for the veggies to cook. I cannot tell you how much I love my Instapot. I know it sounds like I'm another one of those Instapot evangelists, but honestly, when you're as forgetful as me, or when you've got 500 jillion things going on with all the stuff we have to do, whether it be hanging out with family and friends, or running our own business from home, taking care of kids, taking care of the house, whatever it may be. We all have crazy schedules nowadays. I cannot recommend enough for people to buy the Instapot. I am not joking. It is not just because I've jumped on the bandwagon. It actually is a really amazing little thing. The only time I can justify buying extra appliances, like small appliances, is when you're getting rid of two. That's my rule of thumb. When I bought my Instapot, I got rid of my crock pot and my rice steamer, so that was kind of my trade-off. And this one was the 6-quart one, and it really wasn't that expensive. A lot of times they have really good deals on them on Amazon. I will put a link below. Around the time of me making this video, we're literally 2 weeks away from Amazon Prime Days. So if you're watching this before July 15th and 16th, I would check that link when it comes up during the Amazon Prime Days, because a lot of times they will definitely put the Instapot on sale. And I'm serious, it is really, really worth it. There's a lot of things you can do with it. You can cook rice in it, you can steam, you can, you know, if you get the one that has the yogurt option, you can make yogurt in it. There's just so many things you can do in the Instapot that I didn't even realize. A lot of homesteaders who have their own fresh eggs have problems hard boiling their eggs. A lot of times when we hard boil our eggs, they don't peel very well, and it just like, they tear the egg and then it's just a pain in the butt. It doesn't look great when you're making deviled eggs. So a lot of us have come up with different tips and tricks on how we can make our own hard-boiled eggs. Well, the Instapot, I tried it. Thank you, Farmhouse on Boone. She had a video herself about how to make deviled eggs in the Instant Pot, and I tried it, and it was amazing. It worked, and I had beautiful eggs. They peeled really nicely. I did a dozen in here, so they're great to have throughout the week for snacks. And I can hear it's starting to come up to pressure, so hopefully this will be done before my husband gets home in an hour. All that's left to do after I've cut up the veggies, I put them in the oven on 375 for 30 minutes. The Instant Pot has just finally done its full seal, so now it will be ready by the time Aaron gets home. Like literally, probably as he's walking in the door. Okay, so now it is done. All I have to do is release. And I always use the potatoes and the veggies are also done. Here's the food. So we just wait until we don't hear any more steam coming out of the Instant Pot. It's still bubbling. And so this is my finished roast. And normally I would let this rest for like 20 minutes, but I was telling the truth. Aaron literally walked in as this was finishing. So we need to cut it up and plate it. It's falling apart. You feel like you're being watched?
Just a little. Oh.
Are you just saying that because you're on camera?
No.
You're just saying that because I haven't made roast in a while. Kaz agrees. Alrighty.
How about a potato?
So, winner?
Mm-hmm. It's delicious.
I'm glad you liked it. So no more freaking out when you forget to take the pot roast out of the freezer the night before your dinner. You can be a hot mess and still have an amazing meal. If you like this video and you want to learn more about how to nurture a simpler, happier, healthier home, we put out videos once a week. Don't forget to subscribe so you're always notified when we upload something new. I usually put... Really? Ha! I swear. It's not one thing, it's another with me. Pot roast. And it's still Nobody asked you! Okay. You can literally have it... Everything's beeping at me! Oh my gosh.